Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan and welcome to the latest episode of our entertainment show. As you know, in part 3 of our entertainment show, each week we premiere a new TV series or movie that is debuting in Ireland and the UK for this upcoming month, and especially with Irish sort of interest. And up for discussion this week, we're going back to the classic era of music now, in terms of back to the 60s, the 70s, in terms of the real sort of star power of the glamour in terms of music, in terms of showbiz industry. And this movie centers about one of the big production companies, the big production record companies of that time. It's Casablanca Records. It's a biopic of the 1970s record company. The movie itself is called Spinning Gold and features an all-star cast including Kaylee Cowan, Michelle Monaghan, Jason Isaacs, Lindsay Fonseca, Jay Farrow, Jason Derulo, and our special guest this evening, the one and only Doron Bell. Doron, first of all, Spinning Gold, Casablanca Records. Did you ever hear of that sort of company back in the 70s? Were you sort of a filmerization of all the big, powerful women sort of singers and that real decade, that defining era of music back in the 60s and 70s? Were your mother or your sort of elderly sisters, were they all a big fan of that type of music?
Well, you know, even though I didn't grow up in that era, no one can argue that as far as the 60s were concerned, that was a very special time in America for a lot of the groundbreaking hit records and groups. And yes, my aunts and uncles, you know, I mean, they immigrated from Jamaica to New York in the 60s, and all of them are well versed in that era of music. It was just groundbreaking. So it was a really special treat to be a part of that, a part of this gentleman's story. And I say gentleman because I didn't meet him, but the director of the movie, Tim Bogart, this movie is about his father, Neil. And I feel so blessed to be a part of his story, his legacy, if you will, in any shape or form. It was just amazing. The whole experience was great for me. And I have a very minor role in the movie, but it was amazing to be a part of that day. A couple of days we're in filming in Montreal. It was great.
And Doron, your character Rudolph Isley, you mentioned it's a minor role. You might enlighten us. What sort of role does he sort of play in the movie? Does he interact with some of those big, powerful female sort of talents in terms of those musical voices, or is he very much the guy behind the scenes?
Well, so obviously the lead singer, the person that people remember the most about the Isley brothers is, I would say, Ron, which is played by Jason, and he played it fabulously. Rudolph is, I think he was the second eldest brother. I think there was 4 of them. A couple of them passed away, and eventually it was Ron and Rudy that continued on with the Isley brothers' name, with songs like Shout, You Know You Make Me Wanna Shout, stuff like that, and like all the other hits that came out. I believe that was their first big hit. Rudy eventually, I think he left the group. I think he left the business and became a Christian pastor in, I want to say, like 86 or something. Still around today. I believe he lives in Chicago. I think they're originally from Ohio. And Ron continued to do other big things in the music industry. As far as the movie's concerned, yeah, I was there and I experienced a lot of the, like Jason sang. You'll see some clips come out. I'm sure they're already circulating out there of Jason singing It's Your Thing. What a lot of people don't know right now is that all the names you mentioned in the film, the stars that are playing these iconic musical stars are actually redoing their songs, re-recording the songs in real life, and they're releasing a soundtrack to the movie, which is produced by Tim's brother, Evan. So there's 2 brothers that had the idea of putting this movie together. Tim is the director, and his brother Evan, who's also a famous songwriter and producer. He's written songs for Beyonce like Halo and such, Rihanna. they're teaming up to do this whole musical venture on their dad's legacy. So Jason actually re-sung It's Your Thing. And it's out there now on Spotify. You can look it up on the Spinning Gold.
And Doron, does your character, do you have much interaction with Jason Derulo in terms of, do you get to spend much time with him in between takes and offset? And what sort of, did you have good crack together, dare I say the Irish word?
It was, it was actually a really great experience, because the scenes that I filmed with Jason Derulo and Jay Farrow, Chris Redd was also there, and those are two, like, you know, Saturday Night Live veterans, if you will. They created this building. We shot our scenes in Montreal, Canada, and production recreated the Brill Building. There was a famous building called the Brill Building in the 60s. It's in Manhattan, and it housed a lot of the publishing houses and songwriters and singers that produced some of the biggest hits ever of that musical era in the 60s. So they rebuilt a portion of this building, if you will, and we had a number of scenes that day, and it was for me, it was incredible, because, you know, Jeremy was there as well, and he's a notable Broadway singer and actor, and to have that much talent in the space for how many scenes. I mean, it was a long day of shooting, but it was definitely an unforgettable moment for me as far as my career is concerned. Jason Derulo is amazing. Just a down-to-earth guy, so talented. He sang live. He sang this sequence live, and we were there enjoying it live. And I remember at one point, the director, Tim, said, look, you guys, he literally said, this script is like a guide. I want you guys to make this authentic and sort of jump into character as to what they would be doing at the time, and so forth and so on. It was a really magical sequence of scenes. I think it was like 3 or 4 scenes. Rudy was a little rowdy. He's more of the rowdy brother. At one point, they had me doing some, I hope it makes the film, they had me urinating out of a studio window at one point, a lot of cuss words. You know, it was and then Jeremy, who plays Neil Bogart, interrupted our studio session, and I believe I don't want to give too much away from the storyline, but he definitely sought out the Isley Brothers and poked them away, if you will, for his record company, Casablanca.
And Doron, I know there's an awful lot of soul in this movie, but this is a roller coaster of emotions as well. It's a good lot of real highs and sort of real lows throughout this movie in dictating this sort of story. Are the low times just told just as good as the high times?
I would say you hit the nail on the head with that comment and question, because they went into a lot of debt, apparently, trying to get this record company off the ground. And, you know, with your family in tow, delving into that type of business, the music industry was pretty much run by mafiosos, if you will, from different cultures. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can tell by watching the trailer, there's a lot of ups and downs, man. It's very reminiscent of, you know, iconic movies that I've seen in the past that I'm in love with to this day, like Goodfellas and that kind of deal. But it's more on the record company in the record industry world. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's pretty intense. Definitely a lot of highs and lows. And I believe that I think the movie should do well. I think it should do well.
On that note, Doron Bell, for the final 30 seconds, you might enlighten all our audience, all our listeners, why they should go out en masse on March 31st to the cinema, to their cinema screens throughout the country of Ireland, watch Spinning Gold, and what's in store for them, Doron?
Go and enjoy this film. It's a slice of American music history that you don't want to miss. So many stars. It's going to be entertaining and an amazing ride to take in, and it's going to be an unforgettable experience. I can guarantee that. It's taken this long to come out. It's taken 4 years to come out. So yeah, it's definitely well worth going there for.
4 years in the wait, 4 years of enjoyment to be had in our cinema screens on March the 31st. For me, Jim Conlan, to you, Doron Bell, thanks for joining us to premiere and promote Spinning Gold. We wish you all the best in that project and other sort of projects. And looking at you there this evening in the background, you're kept busy anyway. You're a busy man heading into 23. But from a moment, from me, Jim Conlan, to you, Doron Bell, stay safe, take care, and God bless.
God bless, brother.
Thank you.